So whenever I would see anyone, let's say out in public or in the mall or anywhere else with special needs, it's just awkward feeling I would get almost. And it's I don't know what to do in those type of situations. I'm trying to say hi to people or just kind of I honestly, it's just really extremely awkward for me just being around those people, and I knew it was there's just something wasn't right with that. That was something I knew I had to work on, and it was something, a part of me that I knew I wanted to change. And so when I had this opportunity to get out of my comfort zone, I knew I had to take it.
So this morning, we went ahead and did a whole tour of the entire campgrounds.
Camp is in Sholo, Arizona, in the pines of Arizona, the forest.
Lions Camp Tatiyee is an organization that serves individuals with special needs over the course of the entire summer.
Now that you're here, are you unpacked yet? Yeah. Okay. Here's what we're doing. We're gonna put you through a really intense week.
Training week is a period of 9 days where our staff goes through a worst case scenario.
You're working from the moment you get up until the moment you go to sleep.
All day, every day, that whole week, learning how to work with the campers.
How to lift someone safely from bed to chair or chair to bed.
Pretty much all of the personal space and boundaries that you put up in your normal life, they're no longer there. They dissipate during camp.
We have a lot of physical games and team builders in the first few days to break down the self-consciousness.
Have you not seen my bruise? Tell them how you got it. I go hard on games, really hard.
What we're going to do tonight is new staff is going to pair up with the returning staff, and the returning staff is going to feed you.
We're going to play a game called Electric Fence Amoeba.
There's a rope and it's attached to 2 trees, and we are all connected like this amoeba on one side, and no one can be disconnected.
Everyone has to get over the rope without touching it. It's super important in training week to break down physical, emotional, and mental barriers between our staff. They need to be able to break down those barriers with their campers too.
There you go. Now get her up.
We want them to have the best experience possible, and the only way to do that is for them to feel comfortable, which means that our counselors need to be able to break down those barriers with our campers. They need to be able to engage with them and have it come naturally and not forced.
Oh yeah, they're gonna be here soon.
We're getting ready for full staff meeting for our first of the summer camper check-in.
She is sensitive to loud noises. Other than that, she's pretty easy.
He's independent. He has Down syndrome.
Taylor's got swag.
He's like a star camper, kind of. We all love him.
This is Max.
Max is all there mentally, don't assume that he doesn't understand.
It really is tragic what happened to him. He had goals, he had a career, he had stuff that he wanted to accomplish in his life.
Cars are lining up.
Where?
They're lining up.
Some cars are already lined up because they're so excited to be here, so.
You can't be thinking about yourself here. Our motto is campers first, which means you put the needs of the camper first. And you can't be aware of those things and care for another person if you're so self-conscious about yourself.
Yeah! Woo!
Sounds super simple, but it works to educate our staff with that.
Among the pines and forest floor, stands Camp Tatiyee forevermore. It's the place where we have fun in the mountains. And under the sun, 2, 3, 11. We all live in Camp Tatiyee. Hey, Camp Tatiyee. Hey, Camp Tatiyee. We all live in Camp Tatiyee. Hey, Camp Tatiyee. Hey, Camp Tatiyee.
I think what's fascinating is when I tell people, oh yeah, I work at Lions Camp Tatiyee. It's a camp for people with special needs. Wow, that's so great. It must take so much patience and so much, that's so great of you to do that. And it just seems like a lot of people respond to the knowledge that I work with people with special needs as I must be some sort of angel.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
I think that says a lot about how people view people with special needs, just because the idea of caring for someone with special needs is so beyond foreign to them that it's unimaginable that someone could provide that sort of care.
I absolutely think that people, other places, people in what we call the real world, because this place is so magical, I guess, they absolutely don't know how to feel about people with special needs.
To be honest, I was the type of people who would make fun of people with special needs. You know, back in high school, you know, we would have like the people with special needs, like those classes, and you know, poke fun here and there.
It's sad, cause I was that way before too. I'm not gonna lie. I was that way too. Like if you see someone who's handicapped, you tried to avoid them in a sense, cause you didn't want to say anything to make them feel uncomfortable.
I don't think it comes from a place of animosity. I just think that most of the population doesn't know how they should approach situations.
So I'm going to tell you what's going on. Liz is going to voice for me while I sign.
Deaf Week was actually the week I was most worried about. We had a person during training week come in. His name was James Rice.
My name is James Rice. This is my sign name, a J-R on the shoulders.
And he's completely deaf.
So you put a J here on the left shoulder and cross it over to the right with the R. So James Rice, that's my name sign.
And he gave a presentation about, you know, deaf culture. He asked for a volunteer, and I was like the first volunteer to come up.
I want somebody here who knows zero sign language. Who here knows nothing? Like not at all, zilch, or very, very, very little. Raise your hand, please. Come on up.
It was like a really embarrassing moment for me, to be honest.
Okay, so we're gonna gesture, and I'm gonna use a little sign at the same time. See that right there? He's feeling really nervous and anxious and overwhelmed. So that man right here, he's the one who I'm going to pick on. And I'm going to choose to sit with him at meals because he won't understand me at the dinner table. So I can just go off on him. I can swear, I can do whatever I want, and he's not going to know it. He's not going to know any different.
I realized, wow, I really need to work on my sign language, and I really need to work on being able to communicate with deaf people.
Try not to move your wrist so much. So like when I first started signing, I'd be like all over the place, you know? You want to, like, what helped me was if I held my wrist, I kept my wrist in the same place.
Going into Deaf Week, I was super nervous because I've heard all these different stories, and I was like, I'm gonna be that person. I'm gonna be that person they're gonna make fun of. The thing though is, it was completely different from what I thought it was gonna be. These are regular kids. Running around, you know, screaming or running around, you know, and just having a blast.
You guys ready for the festival?
It was such a great experience. Deaf Week is by far my favorite week. I love Camp Tatiyee so much. And yeah, I just want to keep coming to this place.
Taylor's this kind of short, red-headed kid. The guy is more active and involved with things than I could ever possibly be.
Careful. And this is my first high school trophy. It says Taylor Reed, most valuable assistant coach, varsity football, Southern Mountain High School, 2011. I got a lot of golds, a lot of silvers, and bronze. Events, what I do I do swimming, basketball, bowling, soccer, any kind of sport I can do.
Taylor loves Camp Tatiyee.
Loves it. When he first started going to camp, it used to open up in January online. You could start in putting your application in, and he knew it. In January, he'd be like, Mom, time for camp. Mom, sign up for camp. Mom, sign up for camp.
Gee, just move, buddy.
Well, Taylor was born with Down syndrome. Finding that out was a little tough. The first thing that we did was send out birth announcements, and we put it in there about his Down syndrome. And we didn't want people not to be able to approach us or to feel awkward. And so one of the things that we did is we sent out the poem, Welcome to Holland. And it basically talks about planning a baby is like planning a trip to Italy. And you get the guidebooks and you learn the language and you plan all your destination and you get on the plane, and when you land, they say, Welcome to Holland. And not that Holland's a bad place, because it has tulips and windmills and Rembrandts. And it's a little slower pace, not quite so flashy as Italy, but it's a lovely place. And so if you stop and take a look around, you can still enjoy Holland. For Taylor to get to go to camp has been probably magical, is almost a good word. It started back when he was little. His younger sister started going to Girl Scout camp. And she would come home and we would have to hear all the songs they learned, and she'd hear it talk about camp for weeks at a time. And he was kind of jealous, and we really didn't think that there was an opportunity for him to go experience that, and not just to even just experience it, but somewhere that understood his needs to where he could experience it at his level.
What this game is called is Clams Are Great Because, okay? So, here's what happens. So we have this circle, and I'm gonna go in the middle of the circle, and I get to say, clams are great because of blank. And I can say anything, okay? Nothing is wrong, all right? That's what's awesome about the game. And after I say something, everyone's gonna go, yeah! And cheer me on and encourage me, okay? You ready? Clams are great because of shoelaces! Yeah! Clams are great because of the sky! Yeah! Clams are great because of the color orange!
Yeah! Clams are great because it's cool! Yeah! Clams are great because it's trees!
Yeah! Clams are great because of towels! Yeah! Clams are great because of people!
Yeah!
I love camp.
Yeah!
You guys are the best.
Yeah! Clams are great because of Barbara Streisand! Yeah! Batman!
Yeah!
Batman!
Clams are great because of Camp Tatiyee.
Yeah!
When we found camp, oh my gosh, it was like he was so excited, and it was so meaningful, I think, for him to get that normal childhood experience. Getting to do like normal kid stuff, it was just amazing for him.
No, not super stoked. You want some coffee or something, or you good? What up? No coffee? Right on. Alright, so this is Brent. Brent's been coming to camp for what, like, you've been coming for at least, like, what, 20, 30 years? Brent, you want to show him what yes is? What's yes? Yep. So yes is looking up, or eyebrows up, and then what's no? And no's a grimace, so it's more like this. So we got yes, and then we got no.
We refer to some of our campers as total care campers. So when we refer to somebody as being total care, it just means that they have total needs.
Are you ready?
Our counselors have to assist in dressing, feeding, toileting.
Let me know if I'm pressing too hard, okay? Almost done, man. There you go.
That's what we're talking about, is you're providing everything.
Wanna drink some water then? Okay.
So they can be mentally all there, but their body does not function like everybody else's.
Max was my first camper. He was my first experience in Camp Tatiyee in general. And he was difficult. He was difficult the first couple days because I didn't know what to expect.
Can you just back up in the driveway? It'll make it a lot easier.
I know, I just didn't want to hit your car.
Oh no, we're good. They got plenty of room. That's good. Piece of cake. Hey, buddy. What's up? There you go.
There we go, there we go. I've used the ones up front before to get people out.
Yeah, the front ones
use
are.
Alrighty.
All right, thanks a lot.
Take care, Max.
See ya. Say bye, Max. Bye.
Take care of yourself, buddy.
Can you keep the door open with your feet, please? Atta boy. Both feet.
He is a functional quadriplegic, which means he's got use of all of his limbs, but he can't really use them functionally.
Okay, put your feet down. Put them apart, spread them apart. Atta boy. Perfect. There you go. Good. Step over.
He can make noises, but he can't talk.
Okay, turn this down.
The way Max communicates most of the time is with a big thumbs up.
You hungry? You're always hungry. Or no. Or you'll see it in his eyes, he gets mad, or he'll smile and laugh at you.
Or if he's tired of me, he goes,
yeah, goodbye.
push your glasses up, Max.
Once I got to communicating with Max on the point to where we were having conversations and stuff like that, come to find out Max is hilarious. Max has the best sense of humor. He's so funny. I'm getting him ready for the dance. And we're picking out clothes, and I pick out a pair of pants. I go, Max, you wanna wear pants? I don't see anything. I don't see any thumb or nothing. Max, you wanna wear shorts? I don't see anything. So I'm like, Max, do you wanna wear anything? Do you wanna go commando? And he kind of laughs. He's like,
Our experience with Camp Tatiyee has always been excellent. I mean, from the first time I met Pam at a little taco place, she was just another person in there buying some Mexican food, and we started talking about handicapped children. She said, well, you know, we have a free summer camp. I went, sure you do. You know, free, everybody has free summer camps, especially for handicapped kids, because they're really a lot of work. She said, call me, I'm serious, really. You know, we've got a space for him if he wants to come. The more we looked at it, the more we talked to people about it, it just seemed to be like a really good fit.
What I love about Camp Tatiyee so much is they have fun, but they also make it so that these campers can go back home and tell stories to their families, and that they've done stuff that not even their families have done.
There, look at that, perfect.
We have an archery range at camp, and I was like, why do we have an archery range here? It's ridiculous. So many of them need assistance that they could not pull back a bowstring on their own. But I think one of the most unique things is that we focus on ability here.
And then bring your hand to your face over here like this. Yep. There you go.
We focus on having everyone able to participate in every activity, as well as participate to the fullest extent.
I'll always remember something that Jake told me. It was while we were planning all our programs. We were really struggling at first. And Jake gave us kind of like a pep talk. And he said, don't worry about the restrictions. Don't worry about the physical limitations they have or the cognitive limitations they might have. Worry about making it as big as you possibly can, as great and awesome as you possibly can make it. And once you've made it great and an awesome program that you want to go to, then we can start thinking about how do we adapt this into their needs.
Years ago, we had a counselor work for us, and he had a portable wall. And he gave us the offer, and one of my counselors picked it up and was like, we should definitely do this. This sounds like a great idea. It's something no one else would let him do. And I was like, no. It sounds like a horrible idea. I'm a climber. I know the safety that goes with that. I told them that it was a bad idea, and I told them I was scared, and I told them the liability would be too much. And they responded with, that's what everyone else would tell them too. And so you can't argue with that. So a few years ago, we had a camper, Weston, and it was the first few times we were using the wall. He looked at the wall and he was like, I want to climb that. We were like, okay, like that's awesome. So we rig him up to the wall, and I look at him and I tell him, you can either hold on to the rocks and climb up with your upper body, or you can hold on to me and instruct me where to put my hands, and we'll climb up together. And he looks at me and he's like, I'm holding on to you. And I was like, okay, you can hold on to me. And we get to the top of the wall, and he's looking around and proud of himself and his accomplishment. And we rappel back down. We get back down to the ground. Someone blazes us down, and I get him back in his chair, and I look at him, and I'm like, all right, so how was that? And he looks at me. He's like, you're lucky I didn't drop you. I told that story a lot because it's funny. And slowly I began to realize Weston, in his own way, was pulling me up a wall, and I didn't know it that entire time. They get to experience something that tests them both physically, mentally, and just their willingness and their fortitude and test their motivation and their self-control. It's a moment that they haven't encountered before. The entire time I'm climbing up with the camper, I'm wondering if they know that they're just as much of a teacher as I am. That I'm doing something very physical and assisting them in getting up this wall, but they're forcing me to look at my life and make changes and think harder about what's important. We pull each other up walls and we don't even know it.
All right, guys. So we have our step one done, right? Yeah. Now, another part of science, right, is making sure that we're sustainable, right? Right?
No.
Awesome, refreshing water?
No.
No, right?
You want to find Camp Tatiyee?
What do you think is going to happen when you find this water?
You'll get sick. You bump into trash cans.
Max was really a talented kid. He was the fifth of our 5 boys, and he didn't ever realize that he was the youngest. He thought he could do anything anybody else could. When they ran track, he would get really upset if he wasn't one of the winners. And he was 5 years younger than his other brothers. But anything he did, he thought he should be good at.
He was fortunate in that he had a really good physique. He's 6'4", he grew up big. It just came natural to him. All the way through elementary school, junior high, high school, he played every sport every season. 4th
grade, they put him as the quarterback of his little football team. And he came home all upset. They made me quarterback. And I said, well, that's great. And he said, No, Mom, it means I can't hit anybody.
I knew he used to box. We actually looked him up on YouTube, so we watched one of his fights and we were all just like, we were shocked. We were like, this guy's just like, he used to knock out people and now he's here.
Your winner, by way of knockout,
Just knowing about his whole accident kind of, you know, it bumps you up, but at the same time, you know, it's his life now.
Friday night late, we were in bed already, and got a phone call from our daughter Marla, who lives here in Gilbert, and saying, hey, Mom and Dad, Max has been in an accident. You guys need to get here because they don't think he's going to live the weekend. We got on an airplane the first thing the next morning and flew to Phoenix. We went to the hospital and saw him there, and it was just devastating. He had a big motorcycle. It was a big Yamaha Roadstar, something like that. He had gone out that Friday night. He was on this big bike, and from talking to the Chandler police, and they figured that he drifted over to the side. It was 1 o'clock in the morning. He was tired, I guess, and hit that, and then couldn't get it off. Tried to get it off, and it caught the tire and flipped him off at about 45 miles an hour.
Max stayed in a coma for about 6 months. On the movies, people come out of a coma one day and whoop, there they are. But in real life, most people come out of a coma very slowly. And he came out very slowly.
They had raised their kids. They were all off doing their thing. And then with Max's accident, it brought it home again. Max's dad, he had to go back to work and he had to start looking at how he was going to take care of Max in the future. And I think the first time that I had him out to speak to a group, he had the entire group in tears, just imagining how hard that would be.
The accident changed our life completely.
We were keeping a store, a little gift shop in Missouri. We had a 40-acre farm and horses and donkey, and we were having a good time just living our dream, doing exactly what we wanted to do and preparing for retirement. And then we went to being full-time caregivers.
This is a little book called Families Are Forever, and it's a whole bunch of pictures and stuff of him growing up. Oh, it's Marissa, that's his little sister Marissa. She lives up in Mesa. But put all that together for him. You know, there's his brother Mark and me, and that's just a bunch of different stuff that he did. You know, but family's really important to us, and there he is. So he's changed quite a bit.
You want to feel bad for him. You want to feel bad for his family. And I feel like that was one of the big mistakes that I made with Max was I felt like he needed too much. Like oh, you know, he needs me. When in reality, on the inside, you know, we're all the same. You know, just because you look a little different, you were born a little different, you had an accident, you know, on a motorcycle and it, you know, left you in a wheelchair. It doesn't matter in the end. You need to, you know, treat everybody with the same respect that you want.
So I want you to imagine what it would be like to be trapped completely in your body and not have any form of communication. Say you don't have a communication device, you're nonverbal, you're all there. Every day someone is dressing you and not asking you how it feels, pulling on your socks, just that one little thing, and how uncomfortable that can be. And then all the way down to adjusting your underwear and not asking you because you can't communicate. Also, interactions with people. If they don't know that intellectually you're all there, how they would talk to you and how frustrating that would be. And I'm sure that you would be doing things to try and get them to communicate, which could also be interpreted as being resistant or being frustrated, but them not knowing why. And living that every single day over and over and over.
One of the hardest things for us is if we ever wanted to put Max in a home, we would have to really evaluate a home because we want him clean, we want him taken care of, we love him, we want them to at least respect him. You know, and that's tough to find, guys. It really is. It's hard. That was one thing that when I met with Pam and Tatiyee and all that, I thought, this can't be for real, you know. I mean, they're not going to take him up there and these guys are going to take care of him for a week and love him for a week. Nah. But it's really worked out super. So we even have a hat.
I think this place is so necessary for the development of these people, for their confidence. I've seen campers who have been here for 30 years and yet they still wait for this 1 week that's their week. And they talk about it like that. This is my week. This is my week to be myself.
You're seeing the impossible being done pretty much here in Camp Tatiyee. And to me, Camp Tatiyee is all about pushing the boundaries, you know, pushing the boundaries to the point where, you know, you experience things here that you would never be able to experience, you know, outside of Camp Tatiyee.
It's really the most warming, welcoming, supporting environment that anyone could wish for, to share life-changing experiences with people every single day.
Figuring out that, hey, you know what? Just because I'm in a wheelchair doesn't mean I can't rock climb. I just did it at camp. Or just because I'm in a wheelchair doesn't mean I can't swim. You know, because you did it at a camp.
A lot of people with disabilities don't get to do those things because their parents are too afraid, their group home doesn't have the staff or the money to do that.
These are not rich people. They're people that have exorbitant amounts of medical needs and health-related needs and educational needs, and it's a service that we're providing that is essential to them being strong in who they are. And I think that's priceless.
All we need is a little more education in the world. And if everyone came to camp for a week, then the world would be a very different place.
It's definitely changed the way that I look at what special needs really means, and just having a whole new respect for everything, for life. Having a whole new respect for how people live, for how people go through struggles. It's just amazing.
I feel like this just needs to spread. I want people to experience it and try and create it on their own, and to try and understand and comprehend and figure out what it feels like.
This is all about
developing confidence and self-esteem and taking risks and giving these kids empowerment to be able to experience the lives that they want to experience. They're just like us.